I'm a nurse here at St. Pat's. I'm also the robotic team leader. I've been doing the robotic cases since they first started. And then I guess we started in 06, I believe, toward in August of 07. I guess been the month before, so September of 07. I woke up one morning, had real bad abdominal pain, and it's horrible. It was something I had never experienced, and it was just weird. So my wife said, stay home. I said, no, I'm gonna go to work. I said, if it's my gallbladder, if it's my appendix, at least, I'm in surgery already. I know what to do. So I didn't eat breakfast. I just expected I'm getting my gallbladder or something out. And Dr. McCalla kind of agreed with me when I got here and sent me to the ER for a workup. And I ended up doing a CAT scan, and he came back in the room a little bit later, and he says, Beau, your gallbladder's fine, and your appendix is all right. He says, but you have a tumor on your kidney. He says, that's not what's causing your pain. He says, we don't think that's it. He says, you probably have an ulcer. He says, it takes some processing, can be fine in a couple of days. Oh, and Dr. Sadiq will be in to see you in a little bit. And that was it. And I'm sitting in the ER going, I have cancer. I'm 31 years old, and I have cancer. So it was a hit. It was a big hit. And so I went to the phone, tried to call my wife, and I couldn't say anything. I couldn't even talk. So Susan, Lily, my boss here, actually called Maria, my wife, and told her, what was going on. She came over, and Dr. Sadiq came and talked to us, and he was just shocked. It was one of those, I never had any problems. It was about the size of a quarter, so it was small. It was hanging off one of the lower poles. It did infiltrate the collecting duct of the kidney, but it was okay. He says, look, I think it was like a Thursday or Friday. He says, come by the office on Monday, he says, we'll talk about your treatment options and everything else. He called me Saturday. We talked about radiofrequency ablation, where they just kind of go in and burn the tumor. He says, if you're in your 80s, 70s, even 60s maybe, we think about that. He says, but there's no long-term studies for that. So he says, the other option is, he said, we can take your whole kidney out, but you're 30 years old. He says, what are we going to do? He says, if we take that out, you have one kidney left. I had seen already with his skills with the robot. I knew how excellent they were and how much patience he had. And the procedure was being developed more. It was already there. They didn't really have it all per se just right. But knowing that he can do it, I said, no, I think we're going to go robotic. We had our intuitive rep. I had already talked to him. He says, Beau, you can go to Vanderbilt. He says, you can go up to Henry Ford, wherever you want to go. And I said, no, I think I'm staying here. I says, I have faith in my team, and I have faith in Dr. Sadiq. I said, this is where I'm going to have it done. He said, I'll be here for you. We'll do whatever we can. And so that was, I guess, in September. Towards the end of August, we had to actually get our supplies in. I had to research my procedure. I had to find my instruments. And when I gave a report to Dr. Sadiq that we had everything in, he said, all right, you don't have to do nothing else. He said, that's just freaking me out. He says, you're not supposed to get your own instruments for your own case. And so, so it was weird being on the other end of it, and seeing, kidney cases already. We've done hand-assisted cases, and he does it lickety split. So I knew if anything happened, he can convert, and I'd be fine. So the day came, and I think we did it on a Tuesday morning, and came in, and it was great. The St. Pat's crew, they had prepared me throughout. I kind of prepared myself mentally, spiritually. And the day after the procedure, I woke up, he puts everybody, he put me in the unit in ICU and started talking and everything else. And I guess the next day I had an ileus. A few days after that, that was taken care of, and I was up and walking in the hospital. The day I left the hospital, I took one pain pill, as far as pain goes. And I still blame that on my wife's driving. I said, by the time I hit the house, my side was hurting, and it was the opposite side that I had surgery on. So I said, it can't be that. And I walked a mile, got home, cleaned the house, and I was fine. never thought anything else about my surgery. I took the kids to school. I was driving after a week. I was off of work for a little while on light duty, and finally just couldn't take it anymore. He said, and I asked him about coming back earlier. I think I came back in 3 weeks, 2 weeks maybe, after my surgery. And I just did light computer stuff, working at a desk 4 hours a day. And then, I guess maybe about 6 weeks, maybe a little bit earlier than that, I was back in the OR working full time. Never had a problem. Wouldn't know I had surgery if I wasn't for 4 little bitty old scars in my belly. And never had a problem since.